The slap echoed through the sitting room so loudly that even the neighbor's dog barked. It wasn't a slap on a person. It was the sound of a phone hitting the tiled floor with full force. Kamsi had thrown it, her hand shaking as she stared at the bank alert on her screen. The room spun, her heart sprinted, her breath caught somewhere in her chest, refusing to move. No, this cannot be happening, she whispered, bending quickly to grab the phone. Her fingers trembled so violently she almost dropped it again. The alert glowed mockingly at her. 3,500,000 naira debt payment successful. Funds received by Anosike Chukwu, her husband, not her lover. Her entire body froze. The noise from downstairs, the generator humming, kids shouting outside, even the ringing phone in the bedroom, faded until there was only silence, thick and heavy enough to suffocate her. She reread the message 3 times, hoping it would shapeshift into the right name. It didn't. A voice cut through the stillness. "Kamsi, are you okay?" Her neighbor, Mama Abigail, called through the open window. Kamsi swallowed hard. I'm fine," she lied, trying not to breathe too loudly. But she was far from fine. She had just sent 3.5 million naira of her hard-saved money, not to the handsome young man who made her feel alive again, not to the lover who had begged for help last night while lying shirtless on her sofa, whispering sweet things into her ear, but to her husband, the one man she never wanted to give a single kobo to. Her stingy reputation wasn't a joke. She counted every grain of rice before cooking. She labeled her food. She locked the fridge. She monitored electricity usage like a security guard. And she treated every naira like a soldier she couldn't afford to lose. And now 3.5 million had marched straight into the pocket of the man she barely tolerated. Her mind spun. She needed to fix this, reverse it, pretend it never happened. Her phone buzzed again. Another alert. "Thank you for clearing your outstanding balance, Mrs. Chukwu. Your husband's account is now debt-free." She let out a breath that sounded like a dying gasp. The debt, the one he had been crying about for months, the one he thought she would never in her entire lifetime help him with. Her phone vibrated again. This time it was a call. She didn't need to check the caller ID. Her husband. Kamsi squeezed her eyes shut before answering. "Hello?" There was silence for half a second, then she heard a choked breath from his end. "Kamsi, what did you do?" Her pulse pounded. She forced herself to speak casually. "What are you talking about?" "Kamsi," his voice cracked. She could actually hear tears forming. "You paid it. You cleared my debt. My God, I've been praying every night. I didn't even know how to ask you again, and you did it?" She felt sweat trickle down her spine. I have to call you back," she stuttered and hung up. She stumbled backward, leaning against the wall as panic consumed her. She needed to think. She needed air. She needed... Her phone rang again. This time, the name made her stomach drop even further. Simeon. She answered with a whisper. "Simeon, not now." He snapped immediately. "Where is the money? I just checked my account. Nothing entered." "Simeon, I made a mistake." There was a pause, a deadly one. "What kind of mistake?" he asked slowly. "I sent it to someone else." "To who?" She opened her mouth, but the words refused to come out. "To who, Kamsi?" She swallowed. "My husband." The silence on the line was so cold, so thick, she felt it in her bones. "Your husband?" Simeon finally said. "Are you insane?" "I mixed the account numbers. It was an accident. I was rushing." "I've been calling the loan people since morning, telling them the money will come today. You promised me, Kamsi." I know. "You don't know anything," he barked. "They are threatening me. 3.5 million isn't chicken change." She closed her eyes tightly, gripping her phone. "I will fix it," she said. "How?" he shot back. "Are you ready to send another 3.5 million naira? Do you have that kind of money lying around?" She didn't, not even close. Simeon exhaled sharply. "Kamsi, don't embarrass me. I need that money today. If you don't get it to me, I swear—" The line suddenly crackled. Her heart skipped. "You swear what?" she whispered. "I will not be the only one suffering. You better find a way to get that money back, or your husband will know everything." Her chest tightened. "Simeon, don't do that. Please, just give me time." "You have until evening," he said, and hung up. Kamsi stared at the phone, trembling. Her life was unraveling. Her husband was overjoyed, her lover was furious, and she was stuck between disaster and humiliation. She paced the room, hands on her head. She needed to call the bank. She needed to reverse the transaction. She grabbed her phone and dialed customer service. "Welcome to Zenith Bank. What can we do for you today?" Kamsi inhaled. "I made a mistake, a very big mistake. I sent money to the wrong account. I need it reversed immediately." "All right, ma'am, I will check the transaction. When did it—" 30 minutes ago. "Ma'am, has the receiver withdrawn or used any part of the funds?" Kamsi swallowed. Her husband hadn't touched it. He probably hadn't even opened his banking app. "No, I don't think so." "All right, ma'am, please hold while I check." Kamsi waited, pacing. After a long minute, the woman returned. "Ma'am, I'm sorry. The receiver has already authorized a balance inquiry, which counts as activity. We cannot reverse it." "What? He only checked the balance?" "That is considered account activity, ma'am." "Are you telling me I cannot get my 3.5 million naira back?" "I'm very sorry, ma'am." Kamsi ended the call before she screamed. She leaned on the wall again, sliding slowly to the floor. This was bad, very bad. Her husband would never return that money. He would think it was a gift, something born out of love. Meanwhile, she hadn't given him anything out of love in over a decade. Her thoughts were interrupted by another knock on the door. "Kamsi," his husband called, breathless. "Open the door, please." She stiffened. He sounded excited, too excited. She didn't move. "Kamsi, please, let me thank you properly." She pressed her palms against her forehead. Her husband could not see her like this, not until she had a plan. She remained silent until he went downstairs. But the moment he left, her phone buzzed again. A text message from her husband. "Kamsi, I know you're upset. Maybe you didn't want me to thank you too much, but what you did for me, I will never forget it. I'm coming home early today so we can talk properly. I love you." She stared at the message like it was written in another language. Love? He was talking about love? This was the worst possible timing for her husband to start appreciating her. And Simeon was going to explode if she didn't find a solution today. For the first time in a long time, Kamsi felt truly helpless. She rose to her feet, wiped her face, and grabbed her bag. She needed a miracle, because by evening, everything she had built, her marriage hisad, her secret romance, her reputation, might crumble in ways she couldn't imagine. And she knew exactly where she needed to go first: the bank. She slammed the door behind her and hurried downstairs, her heart pounding like a drum inside her chest. This cannot be happening.
Kamsi marched into the bank with the kind of determination that scared even the security guards. Her slippers slapped angrily against the polished floor, announcing her presence long before she reached the customer service desk. The young banker seated there, a slim girl with big glasses and an even bigger smile, greeted her politely. "Good afternoon, ma. How may I—" "I need to reverse a transaction," Kamsi snapped, cutting her off. "I spoke to someone on the phone, but she didn't know what she was saying. She told me nonsense." The banker blinked. "Okay, ma, let me check for you. Please, what name is on—" "Can we skip the small talk and get to the point?" Kamsi hissed, leaning forward. "I need the transaction reversed. Today. Right now." The banker swallowed and typed quickly. "Ma, what is the transaction amount?" 3.5 million naira. The girl visibly flinched. "Ah, yes, ah," Kamsi repeated impatiently. "Please, what time did you do the transfer?" "About an hour ago." The banker continued typing, humming under her breath as her eyes scanned the details on the screen. After a moment, she looked up cautiously. "Ma, I'm very sorry, but the system is showing the same thing my colleague must have told you. The receiver already initiated account activity. Under CBN regulations, we cannot reverse the transaction without the account owner's signed consent." Kamsi stared at her, unblinking. Meaning the receiver has to come and sign a release form. Kamsi exhaled slowly through her nose. "The receiver is my husband." "Oh, that's easy then," the girl chirped, relieved. "Just bring him to the bank. Once he signs, he doesn't know I sent it by mistake." The girl's smile evaporated. "Oh, Kamsi mimicked. "Yes, oh. I need that money back, and I need it quietly. You people should find a way." "Ma, we can't." "You can," Kamsi insisted, tapping the counter. "You just don't want to." The banker stared at her helplessly. "Ma, even if we wanted to bend the rules, which we cannot, we would lose our jobs. The money is legally his unless he agrees to return it." Kamsi felt the anger rising like heat under her skin. "So that's it? You're telling me my money is gone?" "For now, Ma, unless your husband agrees to give it back." Kamsi laughed bitterly. "Give it back? That man? That man will never release that kind of money back into the wild. He will hug it to his chest and sing lullabies to it." The banker looked genuinely sorry, but had no solution. "Kayan, I'm finished," Kamsi muttered, rubbing her forehead. She grabbed her bag and stormed out of the bank, muttering under her breath. The sun outside felt hotter than usual, or maybe it was just her life burning. Her phone buzzed again. "Simeon." She nearly screamed. She answered reluctantly. "Simeon, I told you I'm working on it." "You better be," he growled. "The loan sharks just came to my shop. They said they'll return by evening. Kamsi, they're serious people. They don't joke." Her mind raced. "I went to the bank, and I told them they can't reverse it." She shut her eyes tightly. "They said you must get the money today." On the other end, Simeon inhaled deeply like a man trying not to explode. "So where's the money going to come from? Because if those men come back and drag me out, you think I'll keep quiet? You think your husband won't find out you've been sponsoring me?"
"Simeon, please," she whispered. "No, please," he cut in. "You promised me. You begged me to trust you. You said you had me. Now show me you do."
The call ended. Kamsi wanted to scream again. Instead, her phone rang once more. Her husband's name lit up the screen. She answered and forced her voice to sound normal. "Hello?" "Kamsi." His voice was soft, almost tender. "Are you still angry with me?" "Angry? Why would I be angry?" She forced a laugh that sounded fake even to her. "Well, you ran off the phone earlier, and I know you don't like it when I get emotional, but I just want you to know, what you did for me today, it means more than you know." Her stomach twisted with guilt. "I'll be home soon," he continued. "I bought you something. I want us to talk." "Talk?" she asked, her eyes widening. "What talk?" "You'll see," he said with a smile she could hear through the phone. "I'm almost home." She almost dropped the phone. He was coming home early today, when she needed him as far away as possible. She needed a plan fast. Her mind spun. There was only one way to fix this. She needed to convince her husband to return the money. But how? This was a man who would rather sleep in darkness than turn on the generator for 2 hours. A man who would fight over the price of pepper. A man who ironed his clothes only on Sundays to save electricity. How on earth would he give her back 3.5 million naira? But she had no choice. She grabbed a bolt of courage from nowhere and rushed home. By the time she got there, he was already outside the door, pacing excitedly with a plastic bag in his hand. When he saw her approaching, his entire face lit up like a child seeing Christmas gifts. "Kamsi," he called out, jogging towards her. She froze. He threw his arms around her in a hug so tight she could hardly breathe. She stood stiffly like a plank of wood. He pulled back, eyes watery. "I don't even know how to begin thanking you."
don't need to thank me," she said quickly. "But I do. I don't understand what you did for me today. That debt was choking me. I thought I'd die before paying it. But you," he held her hands gently, "you saved me." She forced a smile, but her heart felt like a stone. He held up the bag. "I bought you something." She blinked. "What?" He brought out a brand new wrapper, beautifully patterned and expensive looking. "I know it's small compared to what you did, but I wanted to show appreciation." Her guilt doubled, tripled. He continued, "I keep telling people my wife is strong, my wife is smart, my wife is a blessing, and today you proved it." She cleared her throat. About the money." He interrupted joyfully. "You won't believe what my brother said when I told him." "You told someone?" she whispered, horrified. "Of course I had to. I had to testify. He even told his wife. In fact," he chuckled, "you're the talk of the family group chat right now."
Kamsi felt her soul leaving her body. Family group chat? Her name? She was finished, dead, buried. How nice, she muttered weakly. "And your mother-in-law said she's proud of you," he added. That one hit her like a slap. His mother hated her, passionately, and now her name was being broadcasted everywhere as a generous angel? "Kamsi," her husband said softly, cupping her cheek, "you showed me love today, pure love." She swallowed a scream. She couldn't do this. She couldn't break his heart. She couldn't tell him the truth. But she needed the money. She opened her mouth slowly. "There is something I need to tell you." He leaned closer, attentive. But before she could speak, the gate outside clanged loudly. They both turned. A familiar voice shouted from outside, loud enough to shake the compound. "Kamsi, open this gate! We need to talk, now!" Her blood froze. Simeon. He had come to her house. Her husband frowned. Who was that? Kamsi's throat tightened. She couldn't breathe. The gate shook violently now, the metal rattling as Simeon slapped his palm against it over and over. Birds flew off the compound wall from the noise. Some neighbors even peeked out through their windows. Her husband turned sharply toward her, his eyes darkening with suspicion. "Kamsi," he said quietly, "why is a young man shouting your name at my gate?" She tried to steady her breathing, but her chest felt like it was collapsing. I don't know what he wants," she whispered. "You don't know?" he repeated, stepping closer. "He's screaming your name like you owe him something." The gate thundered again. "Kamsi, I said open this gate before I break it." Her husband's expression hardened. He marched straight past her, heading for the gate. Panic shot through her. She ran forward and grabbed his arm. "Wait!" He looked at her hand on him, shocked. She never touched him unless absolutely necessary. "Why are you stopping me?" he asked quietly. She swallowed hard. "Just let me talk to him first." "Oh?" He raised a brow. "So you do know him?" Her heart hammered. "It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" he demanded. Before she could answer, Simeon shouted again, voice cracking with desperation. "Come see! Don't make me disgrace you! You think I'm joking?" Her husband's jaw tightened. "Come see," he said, voice low and trembling with anger. "Who is that man outside my house threatening to disgrace you?" The air around them felt like it was closing in. She didn't have time to think. The situation was moving too fast, spiraling out of control. She opened her mouth to speak, but her voice shook. "Please, just let me handle it." Simeon banged the gate again. "I am not leaving until you talk to me." Her husband snapped. He shoved her hand off gently but firmly and stormed toward the gate. "No, Kamsi, I need to see this nonsense with my own eyes." She ran after him. "Please, wait!" But it was too late. He reached the gate, unbolted it, and swung it open with force. Simeon stumbled slightly from the momentum, then straightened, blinking at her husband. Her husband stared him down. "Who are you?" Simeon hesitated, realizing this was not the man he wanted to see first.
Kamsi rushed out, trying to stand between them. "Simeon, leave, now!" Simeon scoffed. "Leave, so you can pretend like nothing is happening? Kamsi, I need that money. You promised." Her husband's head snapped toward her with shocking speed. "Money?" he repeated. "What money?" She stepped back, her throat completely dry. Simeon, realizing he had stepped into danger, tried to salvage it. Sir, sorry, it's just a small misunderstanding." "Between you and my wife?" her husband asked, calmly, which was far scarier than if he had yelled. Simeon stuttered. I just need to speak to her privately." "There's nothing private between you and my wife," her husband said, stepping forward. Simeon stepped back instinctively. "Sir, please, let me talk," her husband barked. "What did my wife promise you?" Simeon glanced at Kamsi, then at the husband, then back at Kamsi. Fear flickered across his face. "Kamsi," muttered Simeon, "just tell him before it gets worse." Her husband turned slowly to face her. "Kamsi," he said softly, "what is going on?" Her lips trembled. "It's nothing serious." 3.5 million naira is not nothing serious, Kamsi," Simeon suddenly shouted. Her husband's eyes widened. What? Kamsi's heart stopped. Simeon froze too, realizing what he had just done. Her husband took a slow step toward her. 3.5 million. The same amount you sent me today? She felt a wave of terror wash over her. "I can explain," she whispered. "Explain," he said, voice trembling. "It was a mistake," she said. "What was a mistake?" he asked. Simeon threw his hands up. "She was supposed to send it to me, not you." Her husband's face drained of all color. He turned to Simeon. "You, inside, now." "No," Kamsi shouted. "He is not coming inside." Her husband ignored her. He marched back into the compound. Simeon looked at her helplessly. "Kamsi, are you mad?" she hissed. "Why did you come here?" "You left me no choice," he whispered urgently. "Those men are coming. I needed the money." "And you think shouting at my gate will solve it?" she hissed. "I panicked," he shot back. "I thought he wouldn't be home yet." "Well, he is," she snapped, "and you've made everything worse." Her husband's voice thundered from inside. "Both of you, come in now." She felt faint. Walking into that house felt like walking into a lion's den. She entered first, trembling. Simeon followed behind like a condemned prisoner. Her husband stood in the living room, arms crossed, wrapper still draped over the chair. His eyes were red, not from tears, but from rage. "Sit," he commanded. They sat. He paced slowly, breathing hard. "Kamsi," he said, "you will start talking now." Her voice was barely audible. "It wasn't supposed to go to you." "So who was it supposed to go to?" he asked. She looked down. He turned to Simeon. "You, talk." Simeon swallowed hard. "Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you. What is your relationship with my wife?" her husband asked. Simeon opened his mouth, closed it, then opened it again. "We're friends." Her husband laughed, a hollow, chilling laugh. "Do you expect me to believe that?" he asked. Simeon's voice cracked. "She was just helping me." "With 3.5 million naira? Who gives a friend that kind of money?" Simeon shrank backward. Her husband took a step toward Kamsi. "Are you cheating on me?" Her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear anything else. "No," she whispered. "Then explain why you are transferring millions to another man." Simeon spoke quickly. "Look, it's not what you think." "Shut up," her husband roared. "If you say one more word, I will break your jaw." Simeon froze in terror. Her husband turned to her again. "Kamsi, why?" Tears filled her eyes. She had no answer,
No excuse, no explanation that wouldn't destroy everything. Her husband stared at Kamsi for a long, heavy moment, then slowly sank onto the sofa. His voice broke. "So all the years I suffered, all the times you told me we didn't have money, you were giving millions to another man?" Her tears spilled silently. He looked up at Simeon, and his expression shifted from heartbreak to something darker. "You," he said in a low voice, "get up." Simeon stood shakily. "Get out." Simeon sprinted out of the house without looking back. The gate slammed behind him. Kamsi sat rigid, trembling. Her husband stared at Kamsi with a devastated expression she had never seen before. "I thought today was a miracle," he whispered. "I thought maybe you finally loved me. But now I know." He wiped a tear from his cheek. "You didn't save me today. You saved him." She covered her face, sobbing. He stood up slowly. "We're not finished. Tonight, we talk properly." Then he walked into the bedroom and shut the door quietly. But the quietness felt more dangerous than any shout. Kamsi sat in the empty living room, shaking violently. By nightfall, her entire life might be unrecognizable.
The house fell into a silence so thick it felt like the walls were listening. Kamsi sat alone in the living room, hands trembling in her lap, staring at the closed bedroom door. Every tick of the wall clock stabbed at her nerves. Her husband hadn't emerged since slamming the door shut 40 minutes earlier. Her mind kept replaying the last hour, the shouting, the accusations, Simeon's betrayal, her husband's crushed face. She pressed her palms against her eyes, trying to keep herself from collapsing. When she finally heard the bedroom door creak open, her entire body stiffened. Her husband stepped out slowly, not with anger this time, but with a strange stillness that terrified her more. His face looked older, drawn, exhausted. He had changed from his work clothes into a simple polo shirt and trousers. "Kamsi," he said quietly, "come." She swallowed hard and stood, her knees weak as she followed him to the small dining table. He sat. She sat opposite him, her heart pounding so loudly she was sure he could hear it. For a moment he just looked at her. Not the way he used to look, curious or hopeful, but like he was studying a stranger who had somehow stolen his wife's body. "Tell me everything," he said finally, "all of it." She tried to breathe, but the air seemed too heavy. "Where do I start?" "At the beginning," he said, voice gentle but cracking. "When did you meet him?" Her stomach twisted. She needed to talk. Not because she wanted to, but because silence would destroy them both. Her voice shook as she began. "We met at the pharmacy last year." His jaw tightened. She continued. "I went there to buy vitamins. He was there. We spoke. It was nothing at first." "And later?" he asked softly. She clenched her fists. "Later, I don't know. I was lonely. I felt unappreciated. You didn't talk to me anymore. You just carried your stress everywhere. The bills, the debt, the pressure. You were drowning, and I got tired of watching." He looked away, pained. She pressed on. "Simeon was easy to talk to. He listened. He made me feel," she swallowed, "alive. I know it's not an excuse. I know it was wrong." He rubbed his forehead slowly. "And the money?" Tears blurred her vision. He came to me crying last week, said people were threatening him, said he was going to be hurt, and I didn't want anything to happen to him." He exhaled sharply, pain etched into every line of his face. "But you didn't care what was happening to me." She shut her eyes. That hit her like a punch. He leaned back in the chair, defeated.
All the nights I begged you to help, all the humiliation, the sleepless nights, the shame I carried, and you never cared. I cared, she cried, her voice breaking. I just didn't know how to show it. You didn't want to show it, he corrected softly. You wanted me to suffer. She pressed her hand over her mouth as sobs escaped her. I'm sorry. He shook his head slowly. Sorry can't fix everything, Kamsi. I know, she whispered. He stood abruptly. She flinched, expecting anger, but he didn't shout. Instead, he walked to the window, staring outside into the dark compound. You know I was going to do something today, he said without turning. Do something? He nodded. I bought that wrapper because I wanted to talk to you about our future. I thought maybe we could rebuild. Maybe this payment meant we could start again. Her breath caught in her throat. But now I understand. He chuckled bitterly. It wasn't for me. I was just a mistake, an accidental receiver. She felt the sting of his words deeply. He turned around slowly. So now I need to know. What do you want? She froze. What do I want? He nodded. Do you want me? Do you want this marriage? Or do you want him? Her chest tightened. I don't want Simeon. He stared at her intently. Then why did you risk everything for him? Because I was stupid, because I was angry, because I was lonely, because I didn't think you cared about me either. He closed his eyes briefly, absorbing her words. Silence settled again.
Finally, he spoke. 3.5 million is a lot of money, Kamsi.
She nodded slightly. I'm not returning it. Her breath hitched. What? He walked back to the table. You gave it away freely. Even if it was meant for him, it's mine now. I needed it. God used your foolishness to bless me. That money wasn't for you, she said, shaking. That money saved my life, he replied simply. The debt is gone. For the first time in years, I can sleep tonight without fear.
She looked down, tears falling into her palms. But, he continued softly, I will help you. Her head jerked up in shock. He sighed deeply. I'm not heartless. I won't let those lone men kill that boy, even if he deserves beating. She blinked. You'll help? I will talk to him, he said. I'll speak to the lenders, arrange something. Maybe we can raise some money. Not 3.5 million, forget that one, but something. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I don't deserve your help. He shrugged. Maybe not. She bowed her head. But, he added, you're still my wife. Her breath trembled. Do you still want me? He hesitated. That hesitation felt like a blade. I want peace, he said finally. I want healing. I want us to breathe again. But I won't lie. You've broken something. She nodded, crying silently. I'm not throwing you away, he whispered. Not today. The relief that swept over her was so overwhelming she almost collapsed. She covered her face, sobbing uncontrollably. He approached her slowly, then gently placed a hand on her shoulder. She flinched, then melted into the touch, feeling warmth she hadn't felt in years. He stood there quietly, letting her cry until her breathing steadied. When she finally lifted her head, he squeezed her hand lightly. Tomorrow, he said, we will talk more. We will decide what to do. But tonight, let's just rest. She nodded, wiping her tears. He walked toward the bedroom, then paused. Kamsi? Yes, she whispered. No more secrets. She nodded firmly. No more. He entered the bedroom quietly and shut the door firmly. By the time she woke up the next morning, he was gone. He'd left no message, no notes or anything. He'd simply packed some of his belongings into a suitcase and left quietly. For weeks he'd refused to pick her call, and his family would only assure her that they were talking to him. Just be patient, they kept telling her. She knew they knew what had happened, and that perhaps there was no coming back now. But sometimes, in the very early morning when the house was still and she was standing in the kitchen waiting for water to boil, she thought about her husband's face at the gate. That wide-open, painful, disbelieving smile, the way he had said her name, the way he had thought for a moment that she had chosen him. Kamsi thought about how long it had been since she had chosen him. She thought about what it might have changed if she had. The water boiled. She made her tea. She sat alone in the quiet house and drank it.
If you were drawn into this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more gripping stories like this. Your engagement helps us create even better content just for you. Turn on post notifications, and we'll see you next week.